vicious.
No matter what you drive, remember, burn rubber,
You might get lucky.
Vicious.
So what we're looking at is a 1967 Buick Riviera. We're going to be working on the kickdown cable today. They do not make one for the fuel-injected EFI. We're over here at VMF. He's going to actually manufacture one. They don't make one yet for the Buick.
Okay, let it go. Yeah, so it's going full throttle for sure. So now it's just getting this guy to come in and...
We have a Sniper EFI fuel injected on a 67 Buick Riviera. I have a kickdown cable here that was zip tied to the manifold, wasn't engaging. I'm over at VMF. They're going to fabricate a bracket that is not made yet by Holly. The man, the myth, the legend, taking some measurements. .54. And this is how you get it done right.
Alright, so today we're going to go old school and lay it out by hand.
These are the measurements Vinny took. Now, are you going to be building a whole new bracket with that involved, or just something to bolt onto the bracket?
What we're going to do right now is build a bracket to bolt onto this bracket with a hole in a certain spot where I think that'll probably work.
Okay.
Then we'll do it with this first. If it works great and it feels strong, we just leave it alone. If not, I'll redo it out of steel and make it really strong. But this should be strong enough. But before we do everything else, it'll be easier to just build it like this. All right. You know what I'm saying? And then see what it does. So right now I'm just gonna lay this thing out.
See how the kickdown cable reacts to the mock-up.
Pretty much of where it's at. And okay. Then we could do this out of sheet metal too. The aluminum's not very hard to work with, and it's easy to just drill holes in it and do all that type of stuff. So we're gonna go there. And then right now we're just laying it out to see where we want to put our shit, you know.
And this is on the fly for those that are watching. He didn't know what he was looking at initially because they don't make it. So now he's taking measurements and remaking it.
Attempting to remake it. You never know if it works or not, you know.
Trial and error.
Yep. That's it. So 2 holes. So when we cut this, actually, you know what? I'll draw the whole thing out. So those are those 2. Let's take a couple measurements this way. Check that. It's 0.83.
And what we're trying to do is this kickdown cable has an actuator in it, so when you give it throttle, it engages into kickdown gear.
So that's the 2 holes right here. I was thinking we'd want to be probably somewhere around here. What we'll do is we'll get this to drill in, tie that in. We'll get the bend on it, then we'll put where we're gonna drill the hole, so we don't, throughout the bending process, we don't fuck it up.
Sweet.
Let me get that cut, and then we'll pencil double check
Kickdown. Seems like everyone in the Riviera world hates these kickdowns.
these. That's a
Yes. Accurate statement for sure.
it's a real bad judge of character though, that he thinks you should be a police officer.
That's what I said. I don't think I got it like that. I think there's some things that would keep me out of that. At least he's being nice and talking though. I'll return it.
Yeah, huh?
I don't like when people, like, you walk into a room and there's 3 guys sitting there and they don't talk to you.
No.
Right,
It's
right.
like you just
There's
walk-
nothing more awkward than that.
Unless you're tearing up the road.
Yep.
So now you got the mock-up already for the existing bolts, and it's
Yes.
just an estimation, I
sense.
guess, for the bolt that needs to be drilled for the kickdown cable.
Yeah, this is gonna bolt to that, then we're gonna bend this, drill a hole in here, and see if that kickdown cable is on the right area of that circle
Right.
to get that thing to kick down properly. Watch your fingers.
So what is this machine here?
So this is just a finger brake. They call it a finger brake because you can take the fingers out and change where the fingers are if you want to make a box or something like that.
Okay.
You can change where that's at. Usually, there's a lot more setup involved with it, but for what we're doing, we're good to go with just a quick little
Ben.
straighten it out and then get it going correctly.
And back there you're adjusting.
I'm adjusting this
The gap?
where it's gonna bend at.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
get it too tight when you go to bend, it'll just tear this thing out.
Wow.
The looser we make the bend, the bigger the radius. A good rule of thumb is 1.5 times the thickness. So just eyeballing, you know, there's 1 of the thickness, and then that's about half of the thickness.
Okay.
So, and this is just a real quick.
So
Make
those
them out, see what it
those
does.
gears back there actually adjust this.
Are pushing the fingers forward and backwards.
Okay.
And then these up here adjust the hold down on it. Because you can adjust this so tight, it'll smash this when it does
Wow.
it. You want a certain amount of tightness on it when you're doing it. And then this, I'm just going up to the line that we made. Like I said, this don't need to be perfect. Everything can also be cleaned up in the end. And then sometimes if the bend is too tight on aluminum, it'll crack, which we definitely don't want. Should be good. So you get a nice tight bend.
Wow.
And we're almost at that point where it could crack if we had done it wrong. But I think we're good to go. So now let's go outside, double check this up against the side of that, see what it do.
And all this on the fly.
So our holes are lined up right there.
Yep.
And then basically we know we're here, so now we could just toss this up on here like that. Kind of get a visual of where we want to be at. So I'm at that line. I already scribed the line where I thought it needed to be.
It's about there.
So I'm just gonna back that line up a little bit. And then that has a little bit of wiggle room. So if we want to do a real tight radius though, we could heat this up just a little bit to kind of soften it. But what I'm doing is I'm just bending it slow to watch it, you know, in case it does crack or something. But I don't think it will. That's about it right there. So then now we got a nice little tab.
Wow.
All stuff that any normal fabrication shop should be able to do this stuff in this amount of time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now if you look, we're fucking right in line.
Wow.
So, and that's just knowing when I put that bend, it's gonna offset a little bit.
Right.
So I'm accounting for that offset when I bend it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So right now we're pretty much right about there. And then this guy, we just gotta figure out where's this guy gonna bolt onto here.
So when this,
when that
actually
throttles, that's gonna pull this guy out with it.
wow, okay.
And if our points are correct, it'll adjust properly. So we're about to find that out right now.
Sweet.
It wouldn't be too hard. We could basically re-get all the dimensions off of a flat surface like this.
Right.
And then I can just put it in the CAD in the Fusion 360, get everything to line up. Maybe we'd have to do like 2 test bends because it has a different K factor in there. But other than that, it'd be pretty simple to reproduce.
Wow.
Surprisingly, they don't just make this fucker, you know. It's up in there.
Yeah.
We might get lucky. If we're doing prototype work, a lot of times we would just call this proof of concept, just to make sure it's working. And right now you can see we're all the way in, we're all the way out. So I think you take this for a test drive real quick.
That's insane.
See what it do.
Hi, lady.